So it indeed started. The comments that I was being toxic and my thoughts around the case are unfounded and I'm nasty, and you guys who think that it could potentially be the parents are nasty as well. And look, everybody is entitled to their opinion, and hell, we could all be wrong. We could indeed all be wrong, and Summer could have been at home and some stranger, unknown to the family, unknown to the area, just happened to come across Summer in a situation where they were able to take her without being seen, without being heard, and vanish her into thin air. It's a possibility. Small one, but it is a possibility. But when we talk about small possibilities and massively huge, staring you in the face possibilities, let's look at that. Now, I think the more that we look at that, the more that we look at how Candace is behaving and the things that we can go back to the start and pull in, where specific people who play an important role in this said specific things that may at the time been not so important, but looking back are very important. We look at the boys. We look at the confusion over, was Candace in the house? Was she outside the house? The fact that it was said that there was a conversation between Candace and the boys that was kind of questioning what they'd done. And the boys' response were, it wasn't their fault. They hadn't done anything. You see that Candace has a YouTube channel that everybody is supporting and will at some point create her a salary. So well done. But look, we see her swinging on this swing in the yard, and I showed it to my other half, and my other half, she not a massive YouTube lover. She's not, and I think she doesn't really like even the thought of people hurting children, and it's too much for her. But I showed her the video of Summer on the swing, and the first thing she said was, she's going to bang her head on the tree. She's going to hit herself on that tree. Now, my first thought was she could fall off the swing from a height of around 15 feet and land on her head. But yes, she could well indeed have hit that tree. Now, Jodie Sue has said that the last time Summer was seen was at the swing set, which is obviously referencing how the boys name that area. That is the swing set. So when you take these things into consideration, I don't think that it's out of the ordinary that what we're seeing here is a potential accident. An accident that happened on the property, and what subsequently happened is that there was a plan, and I would say it was Don's idea, to cover it up. Now, I think that the reason that they tried to say that the boys were inside the house and Candace was outside the house was to try and put the boys as far away from the truth as possible. So if Candace had indeed been outside and the boys inside, Candace was always going to be the one that, in her eyes, would be questioned the most. There would be no real reason for the authorities to go hammer and tong on the boys, so to speak. And I think that was the plan. Look, you were in the house, you saw Summer go outside, I'm outside. So they can direct any questions at me and I will handle it. But there could have been a situation that would go along the lines of, look, you've caused this, and if they find out, then you're going to be in big trouble. So you need to keep your mouth shut, you need to say what I tell you to say, and you don't say anything else. Now, I've seen it myself. Now, children are very, very easy to manipulate. They will protect themselves, they will protect others, and they will do it with a ferocity in the right situation. Trust me, they will. I've seen it. I've dealt with it. I've heard other people dealing with it. I've heard situations where there are step families where one of the children just takes an absolute hatred towards the new mum or the new dad that comes in, and the lies and the things that can be brought up, and they can be incredibly convincing. So children are not always as fragile as people may think, and when it suits them, they can close that door and shut it down. I'm not saying it's happened here, but it's plausible. But I don't think it can be ignored that something happened on that house, and the parents, Don, Candace, decided, look, we're going to handle it. We're going to handle our own shit, and nobody else is going to know what happened. This is what we're going to say, this is the story, and we're going to stick to it. And obviously we know lies are very, very hard to stick to word for word, because they're lies. They're not the truth. You're not referring back to something that happened. You're trying to refer back to something that you said that wasn't the truth. And you've got to remember it. You've got to remember it when you're drunk. You've got to remember it when you had a few too many funny fags. And you know, that's the way it is. You can't blame them for trying to hide it and protect their children. My concern with it is, why was there any underlying things with CPS coming to visit, with the fact that there could have potentially been an autopsy? What else would they have found? We've heard little snippets of things about her. Summer wouldn't sleep on that filthy mattress. She would in fact sleep in with her father. We've heard snippets about her father, Don, being accused of sexual abuse within his own family. So look, there's a lot of things in the background that would say that it's not just the boys that they're looking to protect, but they need to protect themselves as well, specifically Don. So indeed, Candace could, and look, I'm not a Candace supporter, I'm not, and you guys are going to be like, for fuck's sake. But look, Candace could well be the most innocent one in this. She may have been the person who screamed when she found Summer on the floor, severely injured or worse. She could have picked up the phone and she could have rung Don to say, this is what I've found. And it could have been Don who completely orchestrated what happened from that point forward. We also see that people have asked Don on Facebook about, would he want a punishment in place, a severe punishment, and he kind of said, no, I don't want that. And you think, I would. If someone had taken my child and was harming them, and I'd want the absolute worst punishment. I'd want them to burn at the stake. So there are little tiny snippets that we see that is almost like he's offering forgiveness to what has happened. We know that they're very, very early succumb to the idea that Summer is no more. Candace, on her own channel, has kind of said that, there's only two people that are important in her life. So again, it's kind of, Summer's not included in that. There's a lot of clues to what has happened. But I personally think, and don't get me wrong, what I'm going to say is there are elements of this that do not sit comfortably. And it does then lead there to other avenues. But what I'm being here is completely open, honest, transparent, and fair. And that is saying that at this stage, in what I've read, what I've seen, and where I am in the investigation, and that investigation is by no means concluded, but at this stage, I think the highest probability is that Summer was injured, Candace rung Don decided to hide it, and here we are.